Well, hello, Quinn Jubilee Church. I want to talk to you today about reading the Bible with me in 2022. If you are not in the habit of reading the Bible regularly, I promise you it is such a blessed thing to do. Now, in September, when I spoke from the book of Ezra, and I called us once again to read the Bible, to not just be Christians who listen to sermons and read Christian books, but that we actually read the Word of God ourselves. A number of people asked me how I go about doing that, and you're going to get a bit of an insight into that now as I share with you. But essentially, I want to invite you, please, to join me reading the Bible in 2022. And the reason I want to invite you to join me is because as I prayed about this video, as I wanted to make it for you, I felt rather than just tell you what I do and then ask you to go and do it yourselves or to do something similar yourselves, that I would invite you to join me, and that we can perhaps, if you'd like to go on this journey with me, we can meet on Zoom once a month and we can share about the highs and lows of what we've read. We can share about the highs and lows of the practicalities of actually reading it. And we can just share with one another this journey that we will go on. But I want to talk to you briefly about how it is that I do this, because some of you were asking. But as I say, I'm not going to ask you to go and do this yourself unless you want to. I'm going to ask you to join me based on what I've done. Now, I know that in 2021, I have not read the Bible 7 days per week. And in fact, those days where my plan required me to read sort of 4 or 5 chapters, I really struggled. And so in 2022, because I'm not expecting my life circumstances to change overnight on the 31st of December, I have created a plan for 2022 that revolves around 5 days per week of reading, and that there will be no more than 4 chapters per day at any point throughout the course of the year. Now, with those two kind of limiting factors, I cannot read, and you will not read if you join me, the entire Bible in 2022. Now, I'm okay with that. I've read the whole Bible before. I don't feel like I'm neglecting it. That's okay. The things that I'm not going to read in 2022 are the major and the minor prophets in the Old Testament. Now, I know personally that the next time I read those books, that I need to do quite a bit of work actually to place them in the history that they're speaking into, and I know that I don't have the space in my personal devotions to do that in 2022, and so I'm not going to. But I will read all of the Pentateuch. I will read all of the Old Testament history books. I will read all of the wisdom literature in the Old Testament, so Proverbs, Psalms, and so on. And I'll read the entire New Testament. And there will even be an opportunity for us to read a gospel of our choice a second time at the end of the year. And although most of the year is reading 4 chapters a day, we start the year off a little bit more lightly with 3 chapters, so we can get into a good habit. We can build confidence as we read just a few chapters, and then at the end of the year, as we've begun to finish off some of those 3 strands that I've placed them in, we will tail off and we'll have 2-3 chapters a day for the last month and a half or so. I really want to encourage you to join me. Unless you have a plan already, unless you have something that works for you already, I really want to encourage you to join me. Now, if you don't want to join me, that's absolutely fine. There are so many plans out there that you can do, but please engage with God in His Word in a meaningful and disciplined way and regularly. You will be so blessed in doing so. We can't, can we, as God's people, say that we love Him and then not engage with Him, not invest in our relationship with Him. And for us, that means engaging with Him in prayer, and it means engaging with Him in His Word, hearing what He said to us, listening to His revelation of Himself, seeing His intervention in human history and with His people, and knowing that because He's the same yesterday, today, and forever, that is the God that we worship, and we can be encouraged in doing so. But I know a lot of people tell me that they are not readers, that they don't enjoy reading, that they can't really read very well, they don't want to do that. That is fine. And so what I want to do now is to just recommend 2 podcasts to you which read the Bible out to you. Okay, and this is not like an audible book that starts at the beginning and finishes at the end. You're not going to be starting in Genesis and finishing in Revelation if you encounter one of these two podcasts. They both break the Bible readings down into Old Testament and New Testament and so on, and they both read them out to you, and so you can engage with them, you can hear what they're saying to you, and you can listen to it without going through the work of actually reading it. But listen, for most of church history, people like you and me wouldn't have had Bibles anyway, would we? We'd have had them read to us when we go to church and so on. So let's not make a big deal out of that. One's not better than the other, but if you enjoy reading, read it. If you don't enjoy reading, then listen to it, but do engage with it, whatever you do. And so I want to just finish just by saying, if you want to join me, and I so hope you do, we'll have a Zoom session once a month, about 45 minutes, and we will talk about the highs and the lows of the things that we have read. We'll talk about the highs and the lows of our experience of reading. You know, we will encourage one another where we've missed a day or a week or even a month. We will encourage one another to go again. Listen, one of the biggest obstacles to reading the Bible is that discouragement of missed days. And so my best piece of advice to you is, if you set a plan, if you join me on the plan that I've made for us, if you fall behind, don't worry, write it off. You can read it again another year. You can come back to it another time, but just start again where we are. Take off where we all are together, and just be encouraged by getting into that habit, letting that habit form, enjoying meeting God in His Word. Anyway, that's it for now. I will see you soon. Hopefully I won't be so full of cold. God bless you. Have a Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year. And God willing, we will be together physically on the 2nd of January, worshipping God in His presence, letting the word of Christ dwell in us richly as we do so. Goodbye and take care.